What's going on, guys? I have another knife I want to review, and this one's very exciting. This is a modern day take on a classic design. This is a case Russlock. What makes this one special to me is the fact that they incorporated that G10 into this classic look overall. The original reason for designing the Russlock was to incorporate a liner lock into a traditional design. So they kind of took a little bit of this, a little bit of that. A little bit of inspiration from the jackknife, which is a pattern that's been retired for many, many years. And they came up with this. And they did this in a variety of different types of handle styles and scales, color ones, jig bone, smooth bone, mother of pearl, obviously all the exotics as well, different types of woods. But what I like about this specifically is that this kind of incorporates even more of a modern day take because of the fact they're using a synthetic that's very popular in the knife industry, such as G10. And they did a really, really awesome job in polishing this up. It almost takes on a carbon fiber look to it. Super classy, super cool. I really, really like it. And this is definitely my favorite one. I carry this much more than the other Russlock. I have a green one with a pocket clip, and I'll be doing a video on that as well, a different review. In this review, I want to focus a little bit on the history of this knife and talking about it, as well as my experiences. Whereas the other review, I'll talk about the experiences on that knife and a couple other things. So kind of spreading it out between the two reviews. You don't want to hear the history twice, is basically what I'm saying. It is fascinating, so hopefully you are watching this video. But anyway, on to the history. This knife was designed by Tommy Hart. He unfortunately passed away in '99, born in 1930, lived a long life, designed some cool knives. And his design came out in 2000. That's when they released this design. It was named after J. Russell Case, the original founder of Case Knives. His nickname was Russ, and that's why they called this the Russlock. In fact, part of the model number was 1953L, and that is in, you can see it right there. That's in tribute to the date that Russ passed. So the founder of Case Knives, J. Russell Case, had passed away in 1953. So that's why they incorporated that date into the model number here. Beautiful knife, very, very cool. Basically what we have here is, like I said, it was a modern day take using that liner lock. So they wanted something you can open one-handed, and it was also, had the added benefit of locking. So it was kind of keeping up with the times. Obviously, in 2000, you see that the knife industry and the market was changing, for the better. There's new things constantly, constant new designs, but you see a lot of, we consider now tactical knives, a lot of one-hand opening, locking knives. So Case wanted to have something to offer the knife community as a whole, the industry, that had kind of a traditional look to it, but more of a modern usage, right? So it was a little bit stronger of a knife because you had that added lock. You don't have to worry about it folding on you. This particular design, your finger is also on top of the spine of the blade, okay? That extended tang gave you a little bit more reassurance that it wasn't going to fold on you. So really interesting. There are some things I like about this knife. There are a couple things I don't like about it. The only thing I don't like about it is I don't find it to be the most comfortable knife. First of all, this liner lock, you can't miss this thing. It's awesome for usage, okay? When you want to close that knife, you cannot miss that huge, liner. Unfortunately, though, in grip, it sticks in your finger a little bit. I mean, it should be obvious by design. If you handled a couple knives in your time, you'll look at this and say, really cool, that can't be comfortable. And unfortunately, it's not that comfortable in this particular grip. There's really two main grips on this knife. Now, in looking at the design, you can see that the bottom of this tang is jimped so that you're supposed to really keep your thumb right here. And if that's the case, if you're holding it like this, you don't have any kind of problems with ergonomics or comfort at all. The problem I have with that is that I'm not holding enough of the knife. I like to get up on my knife, my pointer finger in and around that pivot area, all right, so I can really kind of, use it with a little more confidence. I don't want just the end of the knife like this. I'm gonna cut stuff like that, cut stuff like this, get in there. However, in the middle grip here, even though it's super uncomfortable, I don't find myself naturally grabbing it like that. I will grab it up here. It's a little bit more dangerous, a little bit closer to that edge, but right like on the ricasso here, all right, and my thumb naturally will rest on the top here right before the angle change. All right, so this is how I naturally grab and use this knife. Some of the time. Most of the time, a lot of my knives, I end up holding it sideways like this. So this whole uncomfortable liner lock thing doesn't make one bit of a difference. All right, I want you guys to try this out too. I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but you look at the ergos and, you know, finger twirls, this, that, and the other thing, jimping here, jimping there. You look at when you're holding a knife, for some reason you hold it like this, but I know, I'm only speaking for myself here, but a lot of times I will hold it sideways like this with my thumb on the side. Even though I'm not cutting sideways, I hold it like this and kind of turn my hand when I get in to cut something. You see it like this? Almost like a kitchen knife. You know, if you were to pinch that spine of a kitchen knife to cut something, I'll find myself doing that quite often. I'm trying to spend a little bit more time watching my own knife habits and seeing how I use my knives, you know, because obviously there's not a whole lot of thought there. When you're using your knife, you're just using your knife. You're not studying it and looking at what you're doing naturally. So point being is that there's one position where it'd be super uncomfortable to hold this knife, but it wasn't really meant to be held like that. It's kind of designed to be held down here, but you can hold it up here, and I hold it like this, so it doesn't make a difference. But anyway, as far as function, works great. The steel on this, your guess is as good as mine. Case is very secretive about the composition of their steel. It's just their true sharp surgical stainless steel, whatever that means. My experience has always been around the 440C range as far as performance. They do come nice and sharp. They do stay sharp for a decent amount of time. Best steel in the world? No. Horrible steel? No. Somewhere in the middle. Very usable. I would suggest learning how to sharpen your knife. As far as the blade size and design, you got 2 3/4 inches here, and it's a clip point design. Nice point on this, but it's not too acute, so I don't have any problems with using this a little bit harder. I don't feel like that tip's going to snap off very easily. And you can see we have a consistent swedge on this. If I get the light right, you can see it shining, starting from all the way at this angle change, all the way to the tip. All right, so that swedge is going to aid a little bit in penetration. So yes, this does poke into things easily. Now, sometimes we'll talk in reviews, you know, knife reviewers, I guess you could say. And I know myself included, I'll kind of say that penetration doesn't make a difference. You know, how many times are we stabbing things? But that's not true at all. I stab crap all the time because I need to pierce into a box. I don't take a box and open it like this with my blade flat. Okay, I pierce into it and then usually tear across. Most of the usage on most of our knives are right here on the tip and the center. All right, not a lot of people end up using their knives down here at the heel unless you're doing a little bit of carving or some fine work. But digging into things, that's what we do. We penetrate first. So having a pointier tip, it's kind of a catch-22. You want it nice and acute to poke through, but you don't want it fragile. So there's a balance there. But this one, like I said, I don't think it's super fragile. Had no problems with either one of these knives in usage. As far as you know, the rest of the construction on this knife, it's very well made. As far as the fit and finish, you can see here, Case does a very, very good job. Maybe not the best in the world. I've seen, obviously, there's some custom slip joints out there that are perfectly seamless and there's just no problem whatsoever. In this one, it's very, very well made. There's a slight gap, though, on the right side here in between, underneath the scale, between the liner and the back spacer. Not that big of a deal. Very, very fine detail, but I noticed the fine details. But overall, the construction is fantastic. The polishing job on these scales, just amazing. And I love, absolutely love the nickel silver, you know, against that black. Nickel silver bolsters, nickel silver pins, nickel silver badge on here. Okay, simple Case badge, see there? Or shield, as some people call it. But that contrast between the black and the silver is awesome. The black has kind of a semi-gloss to it. Like I said, almost has a carbon fiber look to it as well. So just awesome, absolutely awesome. The overall size on this close is 4 1/8 inches, and overall it is 6 1/4 inches. Now, what I showed you in another video is when you want to open this, you have an extended tang here. Works just like you know, some different friction folders that a lot of you guys are used to at this point. There's a lot of really cool knife makers out there doing friction folders because it's a great place to start. Not too terribly complex to make. Basically, what you have is a non-locking folder. So you have an extended tang on here, and all you have to do is put pressure on that and it starts to open the blade. In this case, you want to basically use your thumb to start that blade open, and then you can use your pointer finger on the back to to continue it all the way until it opens and locks. As I mentioned, huge liner lock, works fantastic on this. It doesn't take very long to get used to start opening this one-handed. You can do this on a table, you know, on the side of your leg. You can do it, you know, in the air. There's many different ways you can open these because of that extended tang. It's very cool. You can see in this case it says tested XX on there. Also very rich in history. Super cool. Very, very usable. Very cool looking. Very sleek, slimline. This is a pocket knife in every sense of that word. It is in your pocket. It's not clipped to your pocket. It's not in a shoulder rig. It's not in some kind of, you know, fancy neck knife configuration. This is a knife you throw in your pocket, and that's it. Jiggles around your change, gets scratched up, gets a little bit of character, and you take it out and use it when you need to. And it's something you can rely on. It's very cool. These Russlocks range in price from about $50 is really on the low end of what you're going to pay for one of these, all the way up to about $70 and way higher than $100 depending on the materials used. But the average price is going to be between $50 and $70. Okay, this is on the Russlocks as a whole. This frame, you know, frame style or frame design. This very specific one you can find at Smoky Mountain Knife Works with the G10 for $57.99. All right, so I think that's a great price. It is on the lower end of these Russlocks as far as price goes, and I think it's the coolest looking one of all of them. There's a lot of commemorative ones, there's a lot of ones with fancy exotic materials, but this one to me looks the best, and it's just the coolest. So anyway, completely made in the US of A. Highly recommend if you get a chance to go to Bradford, Pennsylvania to check out the you know, Case Zippo. It's not really, it's a museum. It's called the Visitor Center, but it's really like a museum, mostly focusing on Zippo stuff, but there is some Case stuff over there. The Case factory is down the road, but unfortunately I don't believe it's open to the public. But anyway, in the future, if I can, I'd love to be able to go to the factory and maybe wiggle myself behind the scenes there so I can do some videos for you. But I believe if you watch like Made in America or shows like that, I think they did show Case Knives before, an episode. You can probably even find that on YouTube if you do a little search here. Either Made in America or How It's Made, one of those shows I believe showed Case Knives. But anyway, that's it. Wanted to show you the Case Russlock. Definitely one of my favorites. Just love the way this looks, and the fact that it is on the cheaper side as far as this frame goes. I'd say it's a winner. And stay tuned, I will do a review. I'll probably post these back to back, but I'm going to do a review of the other Russlock that I started carrying. Just a different version. This one happens to have the pocket clip. This is the Bermuda Green with a pocket worn finish, jig bone. So anyway, I'll do a review on that in just a moment. So for now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.